Hey everybody, it has been quite a while since I've done a kidney update. I did updates daily while we went through training, and when we got home from training, it took a good solid week for me to get used to doing it from home, although I did set up my room as close as possible to the training room I was in, even as far as using an old hutch we had as a medical cabinet and little dollar store organizers to put the stuff, different items in. And it still even set up like that took me some time. So I got through that, and the first week and a half went really well for us. And then the second week of at-home hemodialysis was absolutely crazy. I mean, we had alarms going off, scary alarms that would tell us there was air going into Casey. So there was 3 days in a row that he got his full dialysis treatment, so his blood was cleaned. But at the end of dialysis, I was unable to do rinse back, which means he lost all of the blood that was out of him, which is anywhere between 200 to 400 cc's at a time. And, you know, that's quite a bit when you're looking at blood loss with someone who's in stage 5 renal failure who is also anemic. So I had to run several labs on him to figure out where his hemoglobin is, and so we could start his Venifer again, which is his dose of iron I give him through his chest catheter. And we have an appointment this Friday with his doctor, his dietitian, and his nurse to go over all of the questions I have, and trust me, I have a lot. But anyways, back to him losing his blood and us getting all of those errors on the machine. They were specific errors due to air, like AIR. The errors in air got confusing for everyone when I was trying to explain it. Anyhow, one of the lead nurses in the state came over to the house and spent a full session with us. And what we found out was his catheter, I may have done a video about this, I'm not sure about this specific thing, but his catheter was clotted. So we went in center and they gave him a medication to break up those clots. And what continues to happen is his catheter continues to develop small little clots. So I was taught to give him extra saline in his venous lumen. He has 2 lumens, his arterial and his venous, and that will help to not get those errors, because I'm consistently cleaning out and breaking up any very minute clots he might have in there. So since I began doing that, we have not been getting errors, and we've had about almost 2 full weeks of successful treatments now. So anyhow, it was about 4 weeks of chaoticness and me continuing to learn things that unfortunately my nurse did not teach me in training. The nurse we had in training, she's a very sweet lady, but we were her first trainees. And she had only trained with another nurse, one other couple prior to us. So, sorry about the hair in my face thing. So she was very new to it, and at the beginning we wanted to request a new nurse, and I went back in my mind about 22 years when I was in nursing school, and I decided, no, I don't want a new nurse. I want to be able to be her first successful couple that she gets through training. And although it wasn't completely successful, over time and over many phone calls and conversations, and having one of the lead nurses in the state come over to the house, we were able to fix the things she didn't teach me, or she didn't teach me correctly. So now I know it all correctly. I feel very, very confident doing his dialysis 5 days a week. I sit with him the majority of the time. If I'm not in there, my mom's in there, or one of the kids is in there because they just ran to the bathroom or something like that. But we also had a problem with our iPad. There's an iPad that goes with the machine, and it shows you what the alarms are and what to do when you get the alarms. And our iPad did not work, and was not working on the modem it's supposed to connect to for next stage for the first 2 weeks that we were at home. So I was charting everything, and I was having to watch the machine pretty much for 2.5 hours throughout the whole entire dialysis. I was watching the machine to watch his pressures and his numbers, because if his venous pressure or his arterial pressure goes over a certain number, I need to stop treatment. When I have the iPad, it's all right in front of me, and I can see all of it consistently. I'll know right away if something's not right. If there is an error that comes up, I don't need to run and grab my book and flip to the page and read through it, because you only have a certain amount of time when you get errors to get his blood back into him, and that's 5 minutes. Well, by the time you go, run, find the book, look at what it could be, potentially call technical support or your on-call nurse, you are way surpast 5 minutes, and he has lost that blood. So that's what happened those 3 times, and that was about 2 weeks ago, and it has not happened again. That's super good news. Makes me a little bit emotional, but I'm very, very happy that we're doing good. We have an appointment with our doctor this Friday, and we'll go over a few things. They did put him back onto blood pressure medication. I've discussed this before in the past, but a year and a half ago, when he was on a very general blood pressure medication, many of you may know this, losartan or lisinopril, he's allergic to it. It causes his potassium to skyrocket to what could be extremely dangerous levels. I called in today because nobody called me about the blood work I sent in last week. So I called in today to find out where his potassium's at, because this is almost week 3 of him taking the losartan. And come to find out let me shut it. Alright, sorry, we're working. So come to find out his potassium was at 5.3. That's too high, considering that we keep almost all potassium out of his diet. I hardly let him even get any potassium in his diet because of what has happened in the past. So with that said, we'll see what the doctor says on Friday, but my guess is they're going to most likely stop the losartan. However, his blood pressures are still running high. On average, he's running about 165 over 105. And that is too high, considering he's on 4 blood pressure medications. 1 that is an actual blood pressure medication, losartan, and then 3 that are quote unquote used to help control blood pressure. So they're either going to take him off of losartan and continue on the 3 that really all they do is keep him stable at the numbers I just gave you. Or they'll give him potassium binders as well as phosphorus binders, because his phosphorus shot up this week. We don't know why. I have not changed his diet. And because of that, his phosphorus on dialysis needs to stay under 5.5. I found out this morning when I called in to get some answers that his phosphorus was at 6.4. So that's way too high. It's just way too high, and I'm looking forward to talking to the doctor, the dietitian, the nurse about all of this. I will tell you guys that we have had continuous problem after problem after problem after problem with nurses and the way we've been taught things, even down to his Venifer. I was supposed to know 5 days ago what his new Venifer dose was based on the algorithm from his blood work, and no one called me, no one called Casey. So again, I called in today to find that out. I found out what it should be, but I can't do anything or give him his first dose until our appointment on Friday, when the doctor actually approves it. So, in short, the reason we haven't updated is because all of those things have been going on, and in between all of that, he's not supposed to be working. But as many of you know, we were out of work for approximately 12 weeks. That doesn't sit well financially, so we don't have a choice. We have to go to work. Not to mention, we absolutely love our customers. The majority of our customers I consider friends, and even a big majority of them I consider very good friends. So you all know who you are too. So right now we're at a point where we'll see what the doctor says on Friday. I'll update you. I'm getting him through 5 days of dialysis treatments that take about 4 to 4.5 hours total, set up all the way to finishing up. You have rinse back. I have a video of that I'll be posting. And then after rinse back, you have another series of events you have to do through his catheter. And the total time is usually 4 to 4.5 hours. And then we have to squeeze in anywhere from 2 to 4 jobs, and we're working 5 to 6 days a week doing that, so we can try to get to each and every one of our customers, but not completely drain ourselves, which I do anyways because I have a hard time sleeping. But I'm working on that. And the kids are all doing really good. They know every piece and part in that cabinet I was telling you about. They know more about dialysis than most adults. They know the names of things. So if I get caught up with both my hands working on Casey's catheter, or in the middle of starting up dialysis or finishing up dialysis, we have a doorbell set up that we ring, or Casey rings, and all of the kids come running. What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? And, you know, we'll tell them what we need, and they go to the right drawer or the right cabinet, they get it, and they bring it to me. They're really awesome with that. We've accidentally hit the doorbell a couple times, and they all come running. So they're right there for their dad no matter what he needs, which is awesome. And now that they see that dialysis can be a calm, gentle process, I can tell they're all feeling better. There's not so much worry in their eyes. There's a lot more smiles. So dialysis isn't a bad thing. We just had a pretty kind of rough experience at home at the beginning, which made it seem, to a child in my eyes, would make it seem like a bad thing or a scary thing. But we're past that. It's not bad or scary anymore. It's good. It's helping Dad. Casey feels, what do you think he feels? 70, 80% better?
Yeah, probably.
Says he feels about 70 to 80% better than he did prior to dialysis. And they did tell us it's going to take anywhere from 2 to 4 months to start feeling quote unquote normal. So by him feeling 70 to 80% better after 2.5 months, I think that we're doing something right. And, you know, overall, that's excellent. Even though he's not supposed to work, he enjoys working. I enjoy working, but we also enjoy our time with the kids and squeezing in work, dialysis, and family time all in one day is very, very hard. We're up till sometimes 1 or 2 in the morning, the whole entire family, just so we can get all 3 of those things in one day. We don't want to miss out on our time with each other, our time with the kids, or work, or dialysis. None of it can be missed. It's all very important to us. So again, that's why I have not done an update in so long, because we've had all of those things going on. I cannot even tell you guys how many phone calls I've made to get all of this straightened out and be trained correctly. One nurse, one day, and I learned more than I did in 2.5 weeks of actual in-center training. Again, I loved our in-center training nurse as a person, but as far as, what she knew, it was new to her too. So it was kind of like we were learning together, and learning together isn't always bad, but in that particular situation for us, it was, because there was so many things that she did not know protocol of, and we learned wrong that now we know how to do correctly. So I'm going to end this by saying I'll let you know how the doctor's appointment goes, and that we're going to continue on the best we can, doing everything I told you we're doing, and hope that within the next month or 2 I can tell you that he says he's feeling 100%. We are still actively looking for living donors. I believe we have 1 person left on his living donor list. So if you know anybody, or if you're willing to share his Facebook page or YouTube page, we would greatly appreciate it, because like I said, we are looking for living donors. He does not want to have a fistula put into his arm for his lifetime. And as long as we have someone on the living donor list, then he can keep the chest catheter in, and I can access that way, and that can come out after or when it's time for transplant. And you do not have to be his blood type to be a living donor. They have a friend-to-friend program where kidneys are swapped. I don't know all the details of it, because it's very hush-hush because of HIPAA. So unless the person being tested talks to us directly, we don't know anything about what's going on as far as living donor testing. But I can tell you that from what I know, he has 1 person left that will be testing. And the more people we can get on the list in the event that 1 person does not make it through, the better off we are, the better off Casey is. Not having to graft that into his arm would be a blessing. The typical wait time with Mayo Clinic for a deceased donor kidney is 2 to 5 years. So we could be potentially looking at anywhere from tomorrow up to 5 years plus, maybe. I don't know what's going to happen. But I do know whatever is going to happen is supposed to happen. And he's going to be just fine. You're going to be just fine, right? He's going to be just fine. Because we all need him. And we've made it this far. We're not giving up now. So I'll let you guys know how it goes on Friday. And in between, I'm not going to post all of the videos on Facebook, but we do have some videos of dialysis for other people who are using the same system as us, at-home dialysis. Short, simple videos right now, but we will get more detailed into them as time goes on. About it basically shows the concept of how home hemodialysis is ran. So until next week, guys, wish us luck on Friday at our doctor's appointment. I'm sure it'll all go well. I'm sure she'll do or put him on whatever he needs to be on. And if she doesn't, then I'm sure I will get a little bit loud about that until I know he's on what he's supposed to be on. So I'll update again next week.